Welcome to the Sad Crime Channel. Today's story takes place in Sydney, Australia. It's a tale of a toxic relationship that, unfortunately, doesn't have a happy ending. Let's dive in. Lisa was born on June 12, 1981 in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. She had an older brother, Jason, who was 8 years her senior. Their mother, Joan, raised them on her own, working hard to ensure they never lacked anything. Lisa and Jason did their best to lighten their mother's load by sharing household chores. They quickly became self-reliant and were often considered mature for their age. The two shared a close bond, and Jason was always there to look out for Lisa, who knew she could always rely on him. Lisa was bright, kind, and sensitive, with a wide array of talents. She played soccer, practiced karate, and danced. She competed in tap dance, jazz, and ballet competitions, showing great ambition and focus in everything she did. Early on, she decided to take on her first job, working at a perfume store. She was never a troublemaker, and her mother recalls that she didn't go through the typical rebellious teenage phase. Lisa didn't drink or smoke, but despite her positive traits, she was bullied by her peers at school. This led to serious eating disorders. She battled anorexia and bulimia, and at 18 she was hospitalized in critical condition, on the brink of death. Yet despite these challenges, she eventually regained control of her life. At 24, Lisa decided to move to Sydney, Australia. Though she had no family there, she quickly made new friends. Lisa was always social, energetic, and confident. Her smile and positive outlook helped her build connections fast. She also took pride in her appearance, always wearing makeup and styling her hair with care. Lisa loved to dress in a way that highlighted her figure and made her stand out in a crowd. Overall, she adjusted well to her new environment. She surrounded herself with close friends and worked at a beauty salon, a job that suited her interests. Her work visa was extended, and everything seemed to be going well. All she needed was to find a new place to live so she could save some money. It was around this time that she met Simon Gittani through mutual friends. Simon offered Lisa a room in his place, which seemed like the perfect solution for her. Initially, Lisa assumed Simon was gay, but she soon realized she was mistaken. Simon owned a company called Shoe Candy, which imported luxury shoes from the United States. He had a taste for expensive and elegant things, and lived surrounded by them. He wore high-quality suits and exuded the image of a successful man. Lisa and Simon hit it off quickly. They shared a similar sense of humor and could talk for hours. 2 months after moving in together, they became a couple, spending every free moment together. In the fall of 2010, the couple moved into an apartment on the 15th floor of a modern high-rise. Lisa quit her job at the beauty salon, and Simon focused on starting a new business, selling supplements and products for health enthusiasts. Less than a year later, Simon proposed to Lisa, and she accepted, agreeing to be his wife. The months passed, and by the summer of 2011, everything seemed fine. On the morning of July 30th, Lisa made a call to her mother. She asked her to write down the number of a woman named Michelle Richmond. Lisa whispered that if anything happened to her, her mother should contact Michelle. Joan was surprised and asked if something was wrong, but Lisa changed the subject, promising to call her mother again soon. Unfortunately, later that same day before 10 a.m., Lisa was dead. She had fallen from the balcony of their 15th floor apartment. It initially appeared that Lisa had jumped, intending to take her own life. Her handbag was found nearby on the grass. Passers-by and local residents quickly gathered, but it was too late to save her. An ambulance and police soon arrived at the scene. The officers decided to speak with Simon first. He admitted that his fiancée hadn't been in the best mental state recently. She was depressed, had mood swings, and sometimes acted impulsively and nervously. That morning she had yelled at him before suddenly stepping out onto the balcony. She leaned over the railing and started to fall. Despite his efforts, Simon couldn't catch her in time to help. He fully cooperated with the police and seemed devastated. When Lisa's body was taken to the medical examiner for an autopsy, a torn note was found in her pants pocket. After piecing it together, the investigators read the message. Cameras are inside and outside the apartment. This raised the question, was this a note from a paranoid person or from someone genuinely fearing for their safety? The officers decided to search Lisa and Simon's apartment and quickly discovered that cameras were indeed installed almost everywhere. Every move Lisa made was recorded, with the footage saved on Simon's computer. Soon the police also received a statement from a witness, a neighbor named Susan who lived next door with her husband, both retired. Susan testified that on the fateful morning someone had banged loudly on her door, followed by the sound of a woman screaming for help. However, before Susan could react, the noise suddenly stopped. Believing there was nothing more she could do, she simply made herself a cup of coffee and tried to put it out of her mind until the police arrived and Lisa's body was found. As time passed, more unsettling details emerged. Another witness came forward, a man who was walking to work that morning, as he did every day. As he passed Lisa's building, he noticed a shirtless man on one of the balconies, shouting something. At one point, the man threw an object from the balcony. The witness was certain it was something large and dark, possibly a black suitcase. He initially thought the man might be drunk or on drugs, but later realized he may have witnessed a murder. Several people saw the moment Lisa fell. They testified that she didn't scream and appeared to be unconscious. This made the police question whether Lisa's death was truly a suicide. They decided to examine her phone and computer, only to find that all her devices had spyware installed. Someone was tracking Lisa's location, listening to her phone calls, and accessing her text messages. When the police contacted Lisa's mother to inform her of her daughter's death, she followed Lisa's instructions and asked them to reach out to Michelle. She also mentioned the phone call she had with Lisa on the day she died. It turned out that Michelle was a counselor. Lisa had been struggling with eating disorders again and didn't want Simon to find out. However, in her conversations with Michelle, it became clear that these were not Lisa's only problems. Simon had gradually begun to control every aspect of Lisa's life. It started innocently. He didn't like the way she dressed and preferred her to wear modest, understated clothes that didn't attract attention. Wanting to please him, Lisa changed her wardrobe, started wearing minimal makeup, and kept her hair tied back as Simon liked. In the fall of 2010, Simon decided he didn't want Lisa working out at a regular gym where she might attract attention from other men, so he hired a female personal trainer named Lisa Brown to train her at home in their building's gym. The two Lisas quickly bonded, and Lisa began confiding in her trainer. Simon soon isolated Lisa from the friends she had made in Australia, insisting that she should socialize with a different crowd. As a result, they spent most of their time with his friends. Even going out to parties became impossible, as Simon couldn't stand the presence of other men, and every outing ended in a huge argument. Tired of the constant fighting, Lisa eventually agreed to stop going out altogether. Over time, Lisa lost her confidence and became almost unrecognizable. At one point, she even asked her loved ones to start calling her by her middle name, Cecilia. For a while, Lisa didn't work because Simon insisted that she should stay home. When she pushed to return to work, Simon arranged a receptionist job for her at a friend's hair salon. Lisa wasn't happy. She wanted to work as a hairdresser, not answer phones, and the job offered no pay. Still, she decided to give it a try and worked there for a while until her growing friendships with her co-workers began to bother Simon. After a year in the relationship, Lisa could no longer leave the apartment unless it was to go shopping, attend a therapy session, or meet her trainer, all under strict time limits. Meanwhile, Simon continued to go out with his friends several times a week. Even Lisa's counselor had to be approved by Simon. The counselor later testified that when she first met the couple, Simon was annoyed that they had to wait 5 minutes in the reception area, not realizing that Michelle was the counselor. Lisa's personal trainer recommended Michelle, stating that she could help treat an old injury Lisa had sustained while dancing. During a counseling session, Lisa confided to her counselor that, at their engagement party, in front of Simon's friends, he made a remark along the lines of finally finding a woman who would serve him. When Lisa expressed her desire to start planning their wedding, Simon asserted that he would decide when she could begin making any plans. Whenever Lisa tried to stand up to him, Simon would remind her that he could have her visa canceled, leading to her deportation. Lisa's mother initially felt overjoyed when her daughter started dating Simon. Lisa spoke highly of how caring and attentive he was. However, over time, her mother began noticing troubling signs. Long after Lisa and Simon became a couple, Lisa was supposed to fly to Canada for her friend's wedding. But Simon arranged the flights in such a way that Lisa couldn't attend the ceremony. When she finally arrived at her mother's house, she clutched a phone that she never parted with, a gift from Simon. He called incessantly, expecting Lisa to answer each time, regardless of the significant time difference between Canada and Australia. Whenever Lisa missed a call or didn't pick up in time, she would panic. Simon constantly asked what she was wearing and whether she was appropriately covered. He also bombarded her with thousands of text messages, urging her not to speak to any men. Lisa hid the fact that she spent a few nights at her cousin's house from Simon, as if she had done something wrong. She promised him that she would stay primarily at her family home and wouldn't go to any parties. By then, Simon already had access to her Facebook account and regularly read the messages she exchanged with friends. Lisa wasn't aware yet, but he was also monitoring every activity on the phone he had given her. Lisa's family tried to talk to her, explaining that her relationship with Simon was toxic, but she wouldn't listen. When she visited her family again several months later during Christmas, they were shocked by how much she had changed. For one, she wore clothes the old Lisa would never have chosen, along with no makeup and her hair tied back neatly. She behaved as if she was afraid of something. At that point, her mother and brother begged her not to return to Australia. They told her she deserved someone who would trust her and assured her they would help her. But nothing seemed to get through to Lisa. In June 2011, Lisa called home, upset that no one remembered her birthday. Her family assured her that they had sent their wishes, but she hadn't responded. Simon had likely deleted those messages before she could read them. It was around then that Lisa also noticed that some of her Facebook friends had mysteriously disappeared and emails from male contacts were missing from her inbox. She finally decided she wanted to leave Simon. Lisa confided in her counselor and trainer, who both promised to help her. They devised a plan for Lisa to start moving her belongings out of the apartment. She rented a storage unit and began executing her plan. Each day she would take a few items or clothes and leave them at the gym for her trainer to pick up. She was hopeful that her life would soon change for the better. However, Lisa had no idea that Simon was watching her every move. She didn't know that cameras were installed throughout the apartment. When Simon finally confronted her about what was happening, Lisa told him the truth. Immediately after, both the counselor and trainer received messages ending their professional relationships with her. Lisa began to wonder how Simon had known about her plans. That's when she discovered the presence of the cameras on his computer and realized that all her activity on her phone and computer was being monitored in real time. Lisa changed the passwords to Simon's accounts and decided that it was definitely over, that she wanted to return to Canada and her family. The next morning, Simon discovered the changed security keys, leading to a confrontation between him and Lisa. During this time, Lisa called her mother and provided her with her counselor's contact details. When Lisa failed to check in as promised for several hours, her mother sent Simon messages every few minutes, pleading for an update. She begged him to let her know that Lisa was okay, and even threatened to call the police, but to no avail. Simon remained silent. By the time the police contacted Joan that night, Lisa's mother was nearly certain that Lisa was dead and that Simon had killed her. In the meantime, investigators requested access to surveillance footage from the building where the couple lived. That's how they came across a video recorded just before Lisa fell from the balcony. The footage from the hallway at 9:54 a.m. shows Lisa running towards the elevator, followed closely by Simon. The man covers her mouth with his hand and drags her back towards the corridor. When Simon was shown this footage, he claimed that Lisa was behaving irrationally and that he simply wanted to take her back to the apartment for her own safety. He admitted that they had argued the day before because Lisa wanted to end their relationship. He also stated that their relationship had been quite tumultuous, with both of them at times wanting to break up, but that they always managed to reconcile in the end. According to Simon, after he brought Lisa back to the apartment, she went out onto the balcony and within seconds fell down. He claimed he didn't have time to react. In other footage from the cameras, Simon can be seen running out of his apartment, naked from the waist up, then returning moments later before heading downstairs fully dressed. In the elevator, he waves his arms, holds his head, and bends over with his hands on his knees. Upon reaching the ground floor, he runs to the lobby and then out onto the street. By the time the police arrived, Simon was already kneeling next to Lisa, repeatedly saying that he couldn't believe what had happened. However, Simon's account conflicted with the testimony of a witness who had seen a shirtless man throw something large from the balcony. Ultimately, Simon was arrested and charged with murder but was released on bail. He pleaded not guilty. Soon it also came to light that Simon had a previous criminal record. Simon had a criminal record that included theft and drug trafficking. During a police intervention, he bit off a piece of an officer's ear. Simon was described as a passionate but also aggressive and controlling man who always had to have his way. He grew up in Maryland, New South Wales, in a large family with whom he was very close. He had 4 sisters and a brother. His parents were from Lebanon, and his mother always pampered him and did everything for him. Simon had legal troubles from a young age, first being convicted of assault as a teenager. After he bit off a piece of the officer's ear, a priest intervened on his behalf, leading to a reduced sentence. Instead of prison, Simon was sent to a monastery where he spent 18 months. In Lisa's case, Simon's lawyers requested that the trial be held solely before a judge, excluding a jury, due to Simon's limited financial resources and the complexity of the evidence that would be presented. Simon appeared at the trial with his new girlfriend, Rochelle Louise, who claimed that Simon was the best partner she had ever had. She emphasized that he was caring, romantic, and that she would stand by him until justice was served. Interestingly, Lisa's fingerprints were not found on the balcony railing, but Simon's fingerprint and a partial palm print were easily recovered. Investigators believed that Lisa was already unconscious when Simon threw her from the 15th floor, a theory supported by witness statements indicating that she fell limply and did not even scream. During the trial, the prosecutor emphasized that Simon was a controlling, aggressive, and extremely jealous partner who couldn't accept that his girlfriend wanted to leave him. One witness testified that Simon had once told Lisa that he would kill her if she tried to leave him and would then stage her death as a suicide. The defense, on the other hand, argued that their client was innocent and that Lisa had taken her own life. They referenced her hospital stay and highlighted that she had struggled with various disorders throughout her life and was emotionally unstable. They claimed that Simon and Lisa had a destructive but loving relationship. As evidence, the court heard a letter Lisa had once written to Simon, in which she wrote, "Just as a lioness watches over her cubs, caring for them, protecting them, and trying to keep them safe, so you are my lion, Simon, my rock, my everything." Simon's lawyer also argued that the accused wouldn't have been able to lift an unconscious woman over the railing and easily throw her off the balcony, suggesting that it was physically impossible. Simon showed no signs of remorse or regret. On November 27, 2013, Simon was found guilty and sentenced to 26 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 18 years on May 21, 2031. If he served the maximum sentence, he would be 66 years old upon release. Simon appealed the verdict, but his appeal was dismissed. Rochelle eventually broke up with Simon, stating that it would be difficult to maintain a relationship with someone serving a prison sentence. However, she emphasized that she still believed in Simon's innocence and remained friends with him, continuing to stay in touch. Rochelle later changed her name, although she claimed it had nothing to do with her relationship with Simon. She is currently studying law and plans to become a criminal defense attorney. Thank you for listening to this story. Until next time.